Well, folks, the firing is finished. So we are pretty much ready to unpack. It's absolutely cold at the moment, the kiln. So let's focus in on the kiln and see what we've got. Always an exciting moment, isn't it, when it comes to the unpacking of the kiln. Now I hope I've got enough light on. Hang on, let's put the ceiling lights on. Well, it's nearly 6 o'clock here and we're awaiting Hurricane Irene. I don't think it's going to come down though over here where we are. So anyway, let's just take the camera off the tripod and then well, my first impression of the kiln, and always, you know, when you open a kiln for the first, in those first moments, your mind is racing and you're assessing everything and looking at different glazes, and you know, and I'm looking, and one of the things I'm looking for is, have the glazes matured? Have they matured? Well, I can see from the melt of the glaze that they have matured very nicely. That's probably the first thing I look for to see how the glazes have matured. I'm looking here, this is a Chino, and I don't know whether you can see, but it's rather matte. And that's because I've got very few Chino pieces in here, but I think I should have had a period of oxidization at the end of the kiln. They say that if you fire Chinos, it's best to do the whole kiln Chino. But I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to Chino, to be honest with you. So, have the glazes melted? Well, I know that cone 10 went right down, so I know that we reached a pretty high temperature, but the glazes have melted nicely. Another thing that I'm looking for is, do we have a good reduction? A good reduction. So I'm looking particularly at the Celadon glazes. Now, you watched me glaze these mugs the other afternoon outside, and you can see it's a nice bluey green, which is exactly what I wanted. So yes, we got good reduction effects. Apart from those Celadons, we've also got some wood ash and red clay glazes. These are the those raw fired pots that you saw me do and talk about. They come out actually really nicely. You notice how the glaze has run down, but it hasn't thankfully run right off the bottom and stuck. These are not bisque fired, these are just fired straight up to cone 10 with that wood ash red clay 50-50. Let me see if I can put this camera on a little bit more. Get a little bit closer so you can see some of the detail there. So, I've named this glaze Crocodile because it kind of reminds me of a crocodile skin. Okay, let's get the camera back on the tripod, and I've got to start getting these pots out of here. So I'm just going to move it back a touch. That's right. Then, so I can start whisking it all out, you see. Now, here's an interesting thing. I don't know if you can see that. You see these two. You see these two. You see how one is much more yellow than the other. They're in fact both red clay and both wood ash 50-50, but one is somewhat darker. And that's because, well, that's just an example. That's just an example of how wood ash can vary. And different kinds of wood ash will give you different results. Some wood ash will have more iron in it. I think it's got more iron in it, this one on the right here. Okay, so. So I'm grabbing these, nice and cold. Yeah, we'll have to work with the chinos a bit more. Made a mistake there. But thankfully I didn't have too many chinos in the kiln. I've got a Celadon bottle here. Sorry. Celadon bottle here, and you can see how it's cracked around the top. This was actually a bottle that I did up in Canada, and I broke the top of the bottle off and I put on a false top. It appeared to have taken, but it's cracked in the final firing, as you can see. So this is a Celadon lidded jar. Seems to have got a bit of bloating here. This particular clay body seems to suffer a bit from bloating, so I'll have to watch that. Take the props out. Okay, on this shelf down here, we can see here the selection of different kinds of tea bowls. They all look maybe the same, but in fact I did a series of tests. You may not be able to differentiate the difference. The difference is not very marked, but there is some difference in clay body with those. So let's get those over there. Yeah, there's some differences here. I had a number of clay bodies, you know, in the studio, and I wanted to test them out because I'm still in a quandary. That one's quite a nice little number. I'm still in a bit of a quandary about what clay I really want to. There's a dark one there on the left. You notice with the dark one, that's this one, because this got more iron in the clay body, so the glaze is gone completely brown, quite a dark color. If I put it beside that one, you probably can see a difference, comparison. Okay, so okay. Sorry, we're on the move today. Yeah, some bottles here. This is a Chino bottle, but it's rather matte. So I'm going to have to, alongside there, another this is that again, the wood ash glaze, a finger wipe decoration, just done with the end of my fingers. When the pot is when the glaze is still wet on the pot, it gives you that effect. So put them over here. Couple of more bottles here. That is a same glaze, wood ash with a scratched decoration. These kind of wood ash type glazes lend themselves very nicely to scratching type, sgraffito type decorations under glaze, and they tend to come through quite nicely, come through the glaze. There's another. So, see, opening a kiln is always a time of great anticipation, expectation, disappointment as well. This is a lidded pot, thrown in one piece and then cut through with the needle, but it has a trimmed and scalloped foot. Na 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 na. Okay, let's quickly get these out. We don't want to dawdle around, do we? A couple of Chinos here, again, both slightly, as the others, a little bit matte. So much to learn, isn't there? So much to learn. Let's put the camera on the tripod. Get that shelf out. Oh, yeah, just let me show you the cone. That's what I call right over and snaking down the riverbed. Yeah, we've got quite a few jugs or pitchers in here. Which is actually quite handsome by the look of it. Kind of fairly rustic looking, quite nice. Once fired. Ah, yeah. Can you see the scratch decoration with the lemon zester that I did with these guys? How it's come through the glaze quite nicely. Okay. Hang on, let me just swing the camera around. I'll just put these over here. Just have a peek into the kiln. Ooh, I can see something down there that doesn't look too good. Can you see what I see down there in that bottom left hand corner? You see that? Look what's happened. Oop, you come off. The glaze is run, you see, because it was quite hot down there in that corner. So that's going to have to be ground off around the bottom. You remember me making this pot, the one I was said, like in my grandfather's book, I was trying to copy the shape. Well, it didn't come out too badly shape-wise, but the glaze didn't come out the same. But the one that in his book was much more of a yellow, yellowy glaze. But quite nice. I'm happy with that. Ooh, another one that got a bit run off there. Something you do have to watch with these kind of glazes is if they get too hot, they can run. And if this is like that red clay and wood ash, but I've got two buckets of it, and one comes out slightly darker than the other because I mixed up a later batch. I mixed up a later batch, and it came out much more yellowy. This is darker, I've got more iron in it, and iron acts as a flux, reduces the melting point of the glaze. So, okay, let's just grab these, I'll go and put them over there. Again, I've got down here some more jugs, quite nice, quite like that. Quite like that indeed. Quite like that indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Quite handsome. I like these jugs. They have a sort of, I don't know, they have a sort of honesty about them, a medieval feel, unpretentious, just good old jugs, good old pictures. Whoa! Look at that. A brace of bud vases. Always grind off your pots on the bottom just by rubbing them together. Good. Ah, that's that dark clay body. Yeah, and it's come out rather dark. Oh, nice little pictures down here. He's quite cute, isn't he? Yeah, I'm pleased with them. Well, that's it, folks. There's no more. There's nothing in there now. There it is. You can see it all on the table there. Give you some idea that the quantity that we can get into that small kiln, which is not bad. you know, if you let's just take one outside. I just want to see them in the daylight, because in this light in here, it's like, you know. Let's see if we can see what they look like in the natural light. What do you reckon? I reckon it's pretty smart. Even if I say so myself, I like it. Very happy with that glaze. Indeed. Okay, so, well, whew, it's hot today. We've got a workshop tomorrow here, and so next couple of days we're going to be busy practicing again. Okay, that's what I say, and we'll keep saying, keep practicing. See you soon. Bye bye.